The Heartfulness movement is committed to advancing the cause of peace. Every year, on September 21st, the International Day of Peace, Heartfulness brings people together to exchange ideas, share experiences, and meditate for peace. We continually receive messages of support from people around the world.
Because of COVID, we cannot touch each other, and touching is an extremely important sense that is missing. But we can still do the same thing at the same time and being fully connected to a point of our virtual skin can touch one another.
This year, we have two very special guests in a valuable interaction on the subject of peace. Jeremy Gilley is an actor, filmmaker, and the founder of Peace One Day. In September 2001, as a result of Jeremy's efforts, a General Assembly resolution was unanimously adopted by the UN, establishing 21st September as an annual day of global ceasefire and non-violence. Daaji is the Heartfulness Guide, author, and spiritual mentor to millions around the globe. Under his guidance, the Heartfulness movement has spread to almost every country in the world. He is committed to the cause of providing free meditation training to one and all, regardless of race, religion, gender, or economic status. It will be interesting to listen to the interaction between these two extraordinary people. One committed to furthering world peace, and the other committed to helping people discover inner peace. We will also feature special messages from internationally acclaimed actor and writer Kabir Bedi and renowned film director Shekhar Kapur. This will also be the world premiere of the Peace Anthem, specially written, composed and recorded by Grammy Award-winning composer Ricky Kej.
Thank you for what you do, and thank you for inviting me to be a part of what you do, and I feel very honoured and very humbled, so thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you, Jeremy. I have heard a lot about you. I read a bit about you now. I was very impressed with your biography and the work that you do. It is very impressive, and the places you have traveled and establishing peace with various governments, it is marvelous.
Thank you. It's been an incredible honor to have had the journey. That's just been amazing. Been amazing to go on. It's 133 countries. It's 22 years on the road. The world has a day of peace, which is fixed in the calendar, the 21st of September, a day of ceasefire and non-violence, which is a little idea I had many years ago in a field in 1998.
Okay.
Grateful to the British government for taking that idea and putting it forward to the United Nations General Assembly. And obviously the world now has that day. And then, of course, as you know, that took us into Afghanistan to prove that a day of ceasefire could work. And we managed to get agreements with all sides of the conflict, including the Taliban, 70% reduction of violent incidents on the day of peace, and 1.4 million children receiving a polio vaccination as a consequence of the ceasefire and the Taliban agreeing not to kill or kidnap. And then, of course, beyond that, the last 10 years, we're about 1.4 billion people now aware of the day, 3 billion by 2025. We study data, and it's a game of informing a lot of people around the world. But of course, let's not forget that it's people like you and your community, and indeed those of many others that have made this day a success. So, I think it's been a great team effort from everyone and all individuals that the day is where it is.
May I ask you one question that's on what prompted you for this Peace One Day?
I guess basically, I was confused and frightened and concerned about the way in which everyone's behaving, kind of growing up and the situations as children, and what we see happening in the school and in the community, and then of course you look at the wider world and you turn the TV on, and it's alarming, to say the least. And so I left school very young, dyslexic. I was bottom of the class. I didn't know really what was going on in the classroom at all. In fact, I was totally ridiculed in that environment, and frightened and didn't like it. And so I got out as fast as I could at about the age of kind of 11, 12. And I managed to get out because I became an actor, and I found myself in a West End musical. And that was it. I was out of that system, and the moment that I was a real relief for me. But then the arts and creativity was something that I then continued to be a part of, and I started making my own films about issues that I was concerned about, whether it was homelessness, whether it was addiction, whether it was suicide, whether it was, I don't know, the way in which people are behaving, right? I mean, and that was really interesting to suddenly start using the camera, to kind of be able to examine my own thoughts and tell stories with it. They used to say the pen is mightier than the sword, right? Well, for me, the camera is as mighty as the sword.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very well said.
So filmmaking became my thing, and then I wanted to use the film camera very consciously and constructively, because it is a weapon that can cause distress and fear, and that's what I was doing. And then so I decided I wanted to make a film about peace, and really examine: is humankind fundamentally evil? Is the destruction of the world inevitable? Should I have children? Is that a responsible thing to do? And so I thought, I'll make a film about peace, and I'll go around the world and I'll speak to wise and young and old and diverse people, young people, whatever, and I'll say, how are you making sense of our behavior? How are you making sense of our behavior? And so enlighten me, please. Help me, please. And I was going to make a documentary. And then I realized that in itself wasn't enough. That a film that was just a series of sound bites in relation to how people are making sense of the behavior of human beings was interesting, but there was no structure, there was no mountain, there was no journey, there was no view, there was no final destination. And so that's when I thought, okay, well, where is the world's starting point for peace? When do we come together as one in a moment of global unity, of true intercultural cooperation, which the academics were saying was key to humanity's survival? And I thought, there isn't that day. I don't know of that day when we come together as a family, a global family, and we stand together and say we are one and we can take on the great challenges that humanity faces. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go on a journey. I'm bound to fail, but I'll do everything that I can to see if we can create a day of peace with a fixed calendar date, a day of ceasefire and non-violence. And that, as soon as I had that thought, that was it. We were off.
Great. Okay, I picked up a lot of pearls, ideas from what you have just said, how all families can come together in a community. Problem today, I think, even families, within the families, there is no peace. As an individual also, there are people who are restless, running around like plucked chicken, and they don't know where they're heading to. To me, peace in the family will depend upon individual peace, and peace in the community will depend upon the families, and so on and so forth at a global level. See, so unless and until individually you are at peace, you cannot attain global peace. So how are we going to attain this individual peace? That has been a challenge. See.
Well, your life has been devoted to that, hasn't it? And so we need to be listening to people like you a lot more.
Well, it still doesn't work. You see, Moses the Great walked on this planet many millennia back. Jesus walked on this planet. Krishna walked. Muhammad walked. All these great personalities walked on this, and all in the name of peace, in the name of love. Yet we human beings are so capable of spoiling what is natural to us. Often people ask me this question, what is peace? Daaji, tell me, what is peace to you? I say, peace means nothing to me because peace is our nature. It is our fundamental nature. Anything that can disturb, I have to get used to this disturbance, and to what extent I can get used to determines my inner state of peace. Suppose you call me names and I'm in a state of peace. Okay, it's up to me to get disturbed and react to you. Jeremy, how could you say such a thing to me? And then I develop enmity just because you named me something which I am not. So this ability to understand from which angle you are coming. For example, someone tells you, Jeremy, I love you so much. And it is heard by somebody who also loves the other person, and you see how the jealousy starts. A simple statement, I love you. A person who hears it and to whom it is addressed, they feel very good about it. But a person who is seeking that love will feel, oh, it's not my love anymore. So jealousy creeps in. So a lot of understanding is required, a lot of acceptance is required, a lot of, I would say, tolerance. To me, it's not a good word to me. I don't like the word tolerance. I like the word acceptance in place of tolerance. Love and acceptance is the way to go. Tolerance has a very negative connotation. And I think peace, to me, is a basic fundamental nature of every being. What spoils are this anger, jealousy, restlessness. And we need to introduce certain practices, I think, right from preconception. Then during the pregnancy, and then how the childhood travels through this teenage period and adulthood. At each phase, there is a different level of training and interventions. So it's a long process.
Making peace with the environment is an essential part of the International Day of Peace. We face so many environmental challenges today that threaten our very existence on this planet.
Actually, when COVID happened, I thought what's happened is that there is a mirror being placed in front of our civilization, asking us to reflect upon ourselves, and we should look upon what we are doing, what we've been doing. Not that I'm directly blaming what we've been doing for COVID, yet everything that happens on this planet is interconnected. A virus is also a form of life. The idea that a virus is completely separate from us and an invader, we forget that the virus itself is part of nature, and it is nature that is doing all of this to us. After all, our bodies are anyway 90% microbiome, virus, bacteria, bacterium, all of that. And so we are essentially a microbiome, an essential part of all of nature. So we have to understand something, that nature does not love us more than a frog. Nature does not love us more than a snake. Equally, nature does not love us more than a cockroach. And then, because the cockroach too is part of nature, still, if cockroaches could speak, they would say Mother Nature. And nature loves a virus as much as it loves us. So once we get that idea, so everything that is happening is an explosion, a form, a creation of nature. So this virus, we say it's bats, we say it's come from bats, but bats came from somewhere. The virus is a creation and a happening and part of the flow of nature, and we have to understand that everything that is happening in nature is a flow of nature, and we, in our civilization as human beings, have caused ebbs and flows of nature. That's what we've done. And so when I talk about mirroring ourselves, we have to ask ourselves, yes, we are responding to the greatest threat that what we are saying civilization is facing. We could equally ask ourselves whether we, as a civilization, are doomed like dinosaurs, that they became too large for the planet. Have we become too consumptive for the planet?
Peace between nations, peace within, and peace with the environment. The challenges on all fronts are so great that sometimes one may question the efficacy of dedicating just one day in a year to peace. Are 24 hours enough to have an impact? We put this question to Jeremy.
When my family comes together on an annual basis, it's an incredible thing. We call it the Gilympics. My name is Gilly, right? And so we call it the Gilympics. And every year, without fail, about 50 of us turn up, and we play all of these games together, and it's crazy, and it's like an Olympics, right? And it's fun, and we dress up in crazy costumes. But it's incredibly important, and it's so wonderful, right? The family all see each other, the kids all see each other, the traditions are passed on, the stories are passed on, and we're united in that moment. And there's strength in the fact that we've got a wonderful WhatsApp group, and we feel a sense of belonging, yeah? And that's a lovely thing. And so I think wouldn't that be incredible if the world had that kind of experience? But actually it is, and even if it were only for a day, how beautiful. We know that on the 21st of September, more people think about peace than any other day of the year. We know that on the 21st of September, it's the day where there's the greatest reduction of violence on any given day, because people change their behavior. On Mother's Day, we give our mums flowers. We're super nice. We don't know that we've changed our behavior, but we've changed our behavior. On a day of peace, when we talk about peace and we celebrate peace and we ride for peace and we sing for peace, we're changing our behavior. So we're seeing a decrease of violence. Well, at the level of the decrease of violence that you're going to see in a couple of weeks' time, around 20 million people, if not more, 20 million people not involved in violence when they might have been, that's an incredible number. And that, of course, can only grow. But I see it also as just one of many mountains that we must climb on our journey to the manifestation of a more peaceful and sustainable world.
Hi, I'm Kabir Bedi and here to wish you Happy World Peace Day. There's international peace, there's national peace, and there's personal peace. I think the majority of people on this planet want peace. So world peace begins with personal peace. I found meditation to be an extremely powerful source of inner peace. I think Daaji's system of heartfulness meditation is also a very powerful way of bringing inner peace to people. Inner peace, personal peace. So let's pray for peace, let's meditate for peace, and through our collective desire for peace, let's promote the idea of world peace. Happy World Peace Day.
Eventually, it is the youth that will decide whether the seeds of peace, planted on days like today, continue to grow. They inherit a challenging and volatile world, and their choices will be crucial to the future of the planet. We asked Jeremy and Daaji if they have a message for these young people.
On the 21st of December, we will create a show for young people, for them to share their hopes, their fears and their dreams. Young musicians under the age of 30, actors, panelists and space transformers. The show is called Space Transformers. It's about young people who are transforming the space around them with the one agenda of humanity, saving humanity. Incredible. Because that generation under the age of 30 is going to have a really big, serious situation on their hands, of course, as we know. And so anything that we can do to bring them together, to share stories that we hope then inform and inspire and engage other people is really crucial. For me, young people are clearly the key to humanity's survival. Since the beginning of the journey, I've spoken in 133 countries to young people. It was always the most important thing to us. Try to inspire a young person to know that they can make a difference, that they can change the world, that their actions count, that our future is in their hands. And that's just incredible. So, that's that I think is the most important thing for me to know, to work towards, to tell stories through film, and the way in which we do, to just to enlighten a young mind to know that irrespective of their qualifications or their physical state or wherever they are or their financial position, that everything that they do is what is going to save humanity, and they can make a huge contribution and a massive difference. Because that's just the truth of it, right? Every tiny action, every one brick in that wall that's united creates that dam which stops the onslaught of potential situation that we face. So yeah, it's about the youth. It's about young people, and God, if we can play a tiny little part, in making a young person realize that they are the change makers. They are the ones whose individual action is crucial. Then, wow, we've done a good job, right? So, I will work the rest of this day. After this interview, doing everything that we can with the wonderful team that we have to do just exactly that. And so, yeah,
it's lovely. Well, everyone, to me, looking for happiness in life. And youth especially today, they need more than ever, I think. Our times were different when we were youth. Today's youth is also quite different. They are quite creative. At the same time, they remain quite restless. For whatever the reason, because they are not settled, maybe they are looking for a job, maybe they are not, they haven't completed their studies, they are not settled in life. How I have always wondered about how to be happy, how to arrive at peace. This how to principle has always been a challenge to my mind. How do you arrive at peace unless you appreciate this peace? And who doesn't appreciate? That's our basic nature. Unless and until one has peace and remains restless, even if you are given everything in the world, you cannot enjoy that happiness. So one has to arrive at a state of calmness, a peaceful state of mind. And how do you arrive at that? Unless and until you're contemplative. You're having a 360-degree views. And this contemplative mind can be arrived only when you have a focused mind. And how can you arrive at a focused mind? Just as you go to a gym to build your muscles, how do you arrive at a regulated, focused mind? And that's why we keep offering to people at no cost meditation, because meditation prepares your mind, helps you arrive at focused mind, contemplative mind, that makes it more harmonious, more peaceful. So that is my suggestion to youth, that if you really, really want to be happy, be at peace. And peace is the product, or it exposes your inner nature of that you are at peace only through meditation, see. So meditate well if you can. And you don't have to waste even $1. Log in anytime you like at heartfulness.org and learn how to meditate. You won't regret.
Namaste everyone, I'm music composer Ricky Kej, and I'm thrilled to present to you the Heartfulness Peace Anthem. Now this song was created by my good friend Lonnie Park and me, and sung by Lonnie Park and Siddhartha Bellamanu. Along with being a musician, I've always been an environmentalist, and I believe that in order to purify the environment, in order to bring about peace, we have to first purify the mind. So Heartfulness is doing this and so much more, positively changing the lives of millions of people around the world, inspiring love, compassion, universal brotherhood, and peace. And I'm proud to encapsulate this through a song. So here is our song, Heartfulness.
light right here. There is light right here. There is light right inside you and me. A beacon that shines for peace. Sahavirang karavavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All around the world, all around the world, we're not strangers, we are neighbors, kindred souls, and our hearts are full of peace. There is love right here. There is love right here. There is love right in the palm of our hands to give and give again. Sahavirang karavavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All around the world, all around the world, we're not strangers, we are neighbors, kindred souls, and our hearts are full of love. There is light. There is light. Oh, heartfulness.
Before we go, Ray, I mean, thank you so much. Honestly, just love it. It was amazing being in your company, listening to your words and talking with you. And, you know, it's not for me to thank people what they do on the 21st of September. Of course it's not. It's the World's Day. But it is amazing what you do and all of your community do on the 21st of September. And I just, you know, really, really grateful to have been in your presence and to have been able to share a conversation with you is a real honor. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. And I'm happy. It'll be a wonderful thing that, you know, this little movement, as you say, one break at a time. And I think little efforts here and there, I think will awaken people and say, okay, we can come together. It's nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely.
And our hearts are full of love. There is light. There is light. Oh, heartfulness.
Nồng nhiệt chào mừng tất cả các bạn và cảm ơn bạn đã góp thêm một trái tim để tạo ra hòa bình trên khắp thế giới. Bạn hãy ngồi thoải mái và chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu với bài thực hành thư giãn Heartfulness đơn giản. Khi bạn cảm thấy thư giãn, bạn sẽ được hướng dẫn thiền Heartfulness. Chúng ta sẽ cùng thiền trong im lặng để có thể cảm nhận sự bình an xuất hiện khi chúng ta hướng sự chú ý vào bên trong và lặn sâu vào trái tim mình. Buổi thiền sẽ kết thúc khi bạn nghe thấy kết thúc thiền. Vui lòng tiếp tục sự yên lặng một lát sau khi thiền xong để đắm chìm vào cảm nhận của mình. Điều này giúp hấp thu trải nghiệm và mở rộng bầu không khí yên bình được tạo ra khi chúng ta thiền cùng nhau. Nào, hãy cùng ngồi thoải mái và nhắm mắt lại thật nhẹ nhàng. Bắt đầu từ các ngón chân của bạn. Lắc nhẹ các ngón chân. Lúc này hãy cảm thấy chúng thật thư giãn. Hãy tưởng tượng năng lượng xoa dịu, chữa lành từ đất mẹ đang di chuyển lên các ngón chân, bàn chân và mắt cá chân của bạn. Sau đó di chuyển lên đầu gối, thư giãn hai cẳng chân. Cảm nhận năng lượng chữa lành đang di chuyển lên đùi, thư giãn bắp đùi của bạn. Bây giờ, thư giãn sâu vào vùng hông, vùng bụng và vùng eo của bạn. Cho phép lưng của bạn giãn ra, thả lỏng vùng lưng. Từ xương cột tới vai, cảm thấy toàn bộ vùng lưng được thư giãn. Thả lỏng vùng ngực và vai. Bạn cảm nhận đôi bờ vai đang nhẹ nhàng tan biến. Hãy thư giãn bắp tay, cánh tay, cổ tay và bàn tay tới các ngón tay của bạn. Thư giãn các cơ ở cổ. Hướng sự chú ý của bạn lên vùng mặt. Thả lỏng quai hàm và trút bỏ mọi sự căng cứng quanh vùng miệng, mũi, mắt, tai, các cơ mặt và trán. Cho tới đỉnh đầu của bạn. Cảm nhận khắp cơ thể bạn hoàn toàn được thư giãn. Quét từ đỉnh đầu đến các ngón chân. Nếu bất cứ phần cơ thể nào của bạn còn căng cứng, đau hay khó chịu, hãy cảm thấy nó đang được đắm chìm trong năng lượng chữa lành của đất mẹ lâu hơn một chút. Và khi bạn đã sẵn sàng, hãy hướng sự chú ý về trái tim. Thư giãn ở đó một lát. Cảm nhận sự đắm chìm trong ánh sáng nơi trái tim. Và bây giờ chúng ta sẽ cùng thiền. Hình dung nguồn sáng hiện diện trong trái tim bạn đang thu hút bạn từ bên trong. Nhẹ nhàng thư giãn. Trong cảm nhận về nguồn sáng đó. Nếu bạn thấy nhận thức của mình đang trôi theo những suy nghĩ khác, đừng chống lại nhưng cũng đừng đuổi theo chúng. Đơn giản là hãy để mặc những suy nghĩ này và đồng thời nhắc nhở bản thân rằng bạn đang thiền về nguồn ánh sáng trong trái tim mình. Hãy để mình lặn sâu hơn nữa. Đắm mình trong trạng thái được hấp thu nơi trái tim cho đến khi bạn nghe thấy kết thúc thiền. Kết thúc thiền. Nhắm mắt thêm một lát nữa và đắm chìm trong cảm nhận của bạn. Hấp thu sự bình an mà bạn vừa trải nghiệm. Bây giờ, hãy tưởng tượng sự bình an này đang tỏa ra bên ngoài tới mọi người và mọi thứ xung quanh bạn. Và đang trải khắp thế giới. Khi bạn mở mắt, hãy tiếp tục tận hưởng trải nghiệm bình an này. Cảm ơn bạn đã góp phần lan tỏa hòa bình khắp thế giới.